Good evening, everyone. I'm CBS19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony here in the CBS19 Weather Center. Welcome to our Facebook stream on CBS19.tv if you're watching us on the app or on our YouTube channel. We continue to track severe thunderstorms in deep East Texas and a vivid lightning show, as you can tell from our Nacogdoches camera. This camera right now is on the campus of Stephen F. Austin State University. So there's quite a bit of lightning headed toward Nacogdoches, and it's in association with some very strong thunderstorms to the south. Right now, just a few rumbles of thunder around Tyler, moderate rainfall back to the west in Athens and also up to Gilmer. So currently in Wood and Upshur County, no severe thunderstorm warnings, in Smith County, nor in Henderson County or over into Gregg County, Harrison County, and Marion County. Also Rusk County, certainly no severe thunderstorm warnings at this time. If we're going to see anything, it's likely going to be down here to the south. We do have this line of showers and thunderstorms beginning to bow out, and as it moves up toward Nacogdoches, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 11:15, and in Angelina County till 11:15. And the cell moving into Angelina County right in here has what they call a destructive tag on it for very large hail, but there might also be some very strong winds right here on the apex of that line of showers and thunderstorms. There's Groveton right now in the middle of all that lightning and heavy rain. Lufkin also in the middle of all that lightning. Underneath that lightning, that's Lufkin right there. There's Groveton. Crockett has come out on the other side, just raining right now in Crockett. Severe weather threat for Crockett is over for the night. Nacogdoches still a small threat as the wind and the showers and the thunderstorms move up in that direction as they move north and eastward here. So as they move this direction, you'll get some winds, maybe 50, 60 miles an hour, but it's hail that is creating the severe thunderstorm warning. All right, putting this all into motion, you can see how this is all sort of coming together, congealing into one large shower thunderstorm complex that will eventually move over into Louisiana. Quite a bit of lightning. It's a loud night out in Carthage, also over toward Longview and Marshall. But again, a lot of noise, but not much of bite going into that storm as it continues working its way eastward. We still have the tornado watch in effect until 1 a.m. for most of deep East Texas, but not in Tyler, not in Longview. So that means Gregg and Smith County are not included in that tornado watch. Let's see, we have a few questions and comments right now. Wells is getting hammered, said Catherine Reed. Yeah, Wells is likely getting hit very hard right now. How are we for the night in White House? Continued rain, a few rumbles of thunder, severe weather threat for White House is over. Hello from Crockett. Hello. Yes, it looks like Crockett also in the clear now, or at least some rain falling. This is good sleeping weather, says Charity. Certainly is. Longview, some rumbles of thunder in Longview, severe weather threat, very low for Longview for the rest of the night. And then Charity says it's a good thing she didn't have to go anywhere today. She saw the news damage on the cars with hail damage and wrecks. Yes, there was a lot of that around the area, a lot of hail damage. Charity also saying hi from White Oak. So hello, Charity. Thanks for tuning in here tonight. White Oak just seeing some rain and thunderstorms. I have meteorologist Chandler Jordan with me here tonight as we continue to track these thunderstorms. And notice how this whole complex here is spinning. So this is a thunderstorm complex. You've got one little spin here. You have another spin on the southwestern part of that storm right in here. We watched that move into Angelina County, so we were watching it carefully in case perhaps it would get a little bit of a tighter spin to it, but it has not. Still some severe thunderstorm warnings in Angelina County. We'll wait and see. We may see this cell move out of the warned area and then just be allowed to move eastward with what they call a special weather statement on it. We take off the lightning, we might be able to see some of the hail here. It looks like the hail core, which was very bad. I mean, there was big hail just to the west of Angelina County. That looks like that has come down considerably. We're zooming in on this right now. So we're back down into these dark blues. So that's close to quarter-sized hail, maybe a little bit smaller than that right now at Burke and at Diboll, and that's headed over toward Huntington and Manning. That's on the southwest side of Lufkin. So the hail will likely miss Lufkin. That is certainly good news.
And one of our ham radio operators reporting pea-sized hail in Burke. And, sometimes whenever we get these reports of hail on radar, they're estimates, and they give us a pretty good idea of what we're seeing down there. So it's good to have ground truth on top of what we're seeing on radar.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, when we look at Burke and the corresponding hail size, at least with what we sample, it says a quarter-sized hail, but ground truth is it's more like pea-sized hail. So that might be one of the reasons that they allow this warning to expire when it does at 11:15, simply because what's inside that hail core, what's being reported by trained storm spotters, is not necessarily what radar is showing. That's why we always say that radar, and it's so important to have ground truth to help us correlate with what's going on inside those thunderstorms with radar. So that's the hail core right now headed east, and it's headed east at about 30 miles an hour. Both of these severe thunderstorm warnings, Cherokee, Nacogdoches, Angelina County, going till 11:15. So just about 8 more minutes on those cells. They have not been warned downstream yet. This one down here towards Seven Oaks and West Livingston is moving away from our area, any of our counties, down to the south. So Chandler's got that track on it. It heads towards Savala at about 11:40 and Manning at about 11:30. So if this likely will hold together and is expected to weaken as it moves into San Augustine County and eventually over towards Sabine County. Sabine, San Augustine, Angelina, Nacogdoches, in Houston County. Houston County was in that tornado watch until 1 a.m., but the threat for severe weather has now moved out of Houston County. So it now is moving really into deep East Texas with these cells. And right here, anywhere you see this little leading edge like this is probably some very strong winds in southeastern Angelina County, down just to the south of that toward Combs-Neal, and then over toward Jasper and Browndell. So the cities down there could expect some gusty winds. So we've turned on the velocity to see if we've got any stronger wind echoes coming back at us toward Diboll, and Chandler will sample some of that. So about a 40-mile-an-hour wind right now, at least in that one area of the storm between Huntington and Diboll. 33 miles an hour up toward Lufkin, and some other areas that we'll sample here, 25 down toward Corrigan. So about 25 to 35 miles an hour. There's one that we are 54. So we are getting a stronger velocity signature coming out here out of Diboll towards Zavala. So right in this vicinity here, and that leading edge. So that's where you're going to find the strongest winds. 54 would be just below severe limits. So that cell is going to be the biggest concern for the rest of the night. Anywhere else, if you're hearing rain and thunder, for instance, Frankston and Coffee City, that rain and thunder will continue, but it's not going to be severe. Elkhart is good for the night. Yep. Watching from Huntsville. And Huntsville, you've got those thunderstorms moving toward you, so be prepared. Jasper, Texas, you're also going to see some heavier thunderstorms with some strong gusty winds and maybe a severe thunderstorm warning down in the Jasper, Texas area. And Kevin says it's raining here in Huntsville right now. Pointers checking in. Terry, hello. Thanks for watching here tonight. We've got several folks on our Facebook feed. Winona and Gladewater here. Lindsay, you have a good evening. It'll just be raining, thunder. No severe weather is expected for the rest of the night up in Gladewater. So these are the cells that we're watching carefully as they move to the south, to the southeast. We're now down to about 4.5 minutes on that severe thunderstorm warning. Chandler, any indication from the Weather Service whether or not they're going to go ahead and extend these, or as you were talking about earlier when we were talking off air, they were talking from the Storm Prediction Center that these storms would essentially weaken here quickly or soon, even before the tornado watch expired.
Yeah, thankfully, it looks like no indication yet from the National Weather Service on a downstream extension of these warnings. And yeah, we were talking off the air. We do have some, intel and data, and just like me and Brett were to talk off the air, the Storm Prediction Center, they also kind of issue these outlooks that, go through the forecast and kind of in real time talk about what we're working with. And in particular, They highlighted an area of East Texas that would include pretty much most of Sabine and San Augustine counties. We'll throw the loop into motion, and so the general storm track and storm direction through the rest of the evening is pretty much going to keep our thunderstorm complex moving off to the south and to the east. Eventually, I think we'll see some thunderstorms in far southern Sabine and San Augustine counties as we head over the next couple of hours, especially closer to 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. And then this Boeing segment that we have moving towards Livingston, that'll continue as well as we get closer to the 1 and 2 o'clock hour. So really, this far eastern portion of these thunderstorms that are now making their way into southern Angelina County, it's really going to be this particular area of southern Sabine and San Augustine County where we could have some impact as far as the leading edge of this complex of thunderstorms is concerned. So this is going to be the area that will watch for the possibility of a severe thunderstorm warning to be issued downstream. But as we just showed you on some of our more recent scans of reflectivity and of our hail core within these storms, we'll take off the lightning again and notice that while there are some, and we do have a new severe thunderstorm warning, but thankfully the hail on this particular cluster near Diboll and as well as in Wells and Burke, all of these have weakened, and the National Weather Service has issued downstream a severe thunderstorm warning until midnight. And this is moving now east at about 30 miles per hour, and this is for quarter-sized hail, as well as the possibility of wind gusts right around 60 miles per hour, which is what we kind of just showed you on the radar estimates when we took the velocity estimates of what the warnings were and what our CBS19 radar was picking up on. So we'll put a new storm track on this leading edge and this leading cluster of thunderstorms. And this will continue until midnight, and that includes far southern portions of Angelina County. That also now includes a good portion of San Augustine County, again moving to the east about 30 to 35 miles per hour, do a little more of a southeasterly tilt as these storms continue to move into the southern portions of these counties. So that means those of us in Zavala by 11:25, you'll get some heavy rain and some hail in your neighborhood closer to Broadus by 11:30, Norwood by 11:41, and then once we get into our Thursday, Pineland at 12:02, Browndale at that point by 12:12, which would, in anticipation, probably get these thunderstorms over to the Sabine Pass and state line probably closer to 12:30, 12:45 in the morning. And then at that point, our severe weather threat, Brett, would start to drastically decrease.
Yeah, absolutely. If you know anybody at Sam Rayburn Reservoir, perhaps camping, getting ready for a fishing trip in the morning, you might want to give them a heads up. Some heavy thunderstorms are headed into their area. If anybody's out doing any night fishing, they certainly want to get off the Sam Rayburn pretty quickly here before that. A lot of lightning with these storms as they move through Angelina County toward Sam Rayburn, especially the south end of Sam Rayburn. It looks like the north end of Sam Rayburn also already being infected or impacted by the rain and the thunderstorms as it moves southward. So a pretty active night on radar. We've had a lot of different warnings, but some of the good news is that hail core there that was marching southwest of Lufkin, stayed to the south of Lufkin, had potential to have some very large hail. In fact, the National Weather Service at one point had put a destructive tag on that severe thunderstorm warning for Angelina County due to the large hail, but now that hail core has come down considerably. Still some strong wind threat there on the leading edge of that into Angelina County and into San Augustine County and also into Sabine County. So this thunderstorm complex now really what we would call a mesoconvective vortex, one up here, another one down here, just kind of spinning in this whole complex. This looks like just one big area of low pressure. In fact, there's probably like a little area of low pressure right here with this trailing sort of cold front. It's created its own cold front with colder air wrapping in behind that. And then that helps to create some wind that pushes the thunderstorms outward into that bow segment or that bow shape. And then down here you have another little area of low pressure. Sometimes we have to watch these two areas for potential for warnings. But right now that has so far stayed pretty true to form in terms of, you can see that right there, that's a pretty good little counterclockwise rotation southwest of Nacogdoches. The wind has pushed out. There's another little counterclockwise rotation coming right in here toward Bryan. and this will continue working southeastward. So we've sort of dodged a bullet in the sense that we have not had the 80-mile-an-hour winds that were talked about earlier in discussions from Storm Prediction Center. We have had some destructive hail. We have had some reports of damaging winds up in the Timpson area. Near Troop, or just south of Troop, was another one of those areas. So we'll see what the National Weather Service decides tomorrow if they send crews out to survey. Those were severe thunderstorm warned, but never a tornado warning. The only tornado warning we had today was in Smith County for the city of Tyler, and that did not produce anything, just produced the warning, and that was it. In fact, that cell became the cell that strengthened as it moved in toward ARP, creating some hail there, and then that one eventually went down to Henderson and became very strong in Henderson, doing the destructive large hailstones in Henderson. It caused a lot of damage down there to cars, skylights, vehicle parts, side view mirrors, sheriff's cars, sheriff's department vehicles. Core again right there, this is one of the bigger hail cores that's coming with that. You can see that's moving east over toward Jasper. We were just talking to somebody in Jasper on Facebook. So you got a few hours. That cell may come into Jasper in a couple of hours. And then when it does, it could have some large hail with it. So if you have a car that you need to get into a carport or a garage, I'd get it there real soon. And because that's going to be, it looks like it's tracking straight to the south and to the southeast between Colmasneal and Spurger, near Jasper, and then eventually on down toward Louisiana. So severe thunderstorm warnings for Polk and Trinity County until 11:30, and for Polk County till 11:45. So this is the Polk, and then this would be the San Augustine warning that we have also going on likely till about 11:45 at this time. So Broadus would be included in that. So we got a new thunderstorm warning. I think that's gonna, where is that gonna be for? That's probably gonna be, this part of this is Hardin, Jasper, and Tyler County till midnight. So that's the new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued. So we have that severe thunderstorm warning. We have another one back here at Polk and Trinity County, and that will expire here in about 12 minutes. So far from the Weather Service, we're not getting any reports of anything that's verifying or telling us that there's anything of particular or too much concern in those areas. What's the red box west of Crockett?
Oh, that's a flash flood warning.
Oh, flash flood warning. Yeah, flash flood warning. Okay. So there are some flash flood warnings out there that you'll see on the map from time to time. And they almost look like red or purple. We don't have them filled in. So tornado warnings will be like kind of a brighter red, and then that the flash flood warnings will be sort of that duller red color. You can see one. Chandler's moving the cities there. It says Centerville. So Centerville right now has a flash flood warning.
Yeah, right there with the arrow on I-45.
All right, looking for a couple more questions. Seeing everybody's just kind of, I think for the most part, just kind of watching these thunderstorms.
Stormed out.
I'm sorry?
Oh, I was just saying everyone's stormed out.
Yeah,
It was a busy day today.
They're stormed out. We're going to stay on for about another 10 minutes. And by then, these cells should be through Zavala and sort of moving over into San Augustine County. And hopefully, within that next 10 minutes, we'll see a continued weakening with these cells. That's what we've been watching is the hail core. It's been pretty impressive through deep East Texas for most of the night. And now it's beginning to lose its shape. And if we looked at the lightning, we might be losing lightning intensity too at some point. That's south of Lufkin still. And you can see there's still quite a bit of lightning with that. So it still has a fair amount of strength to that thunderstorm and to the updraft in that thunderstorm. And then, of course, the possibility of some very strong straight line winds. So within the last, I believe, 15 minutes, we've had 241 strikes of lightning. We've had at times as much as 1,000 strikes in the area across East Texas. And we were watching another cell at one point. It was like 800, 600. So now these lightning strikes are down in certain segments to about 250 strikes every 15 minutes. So that's a lot. I mean, that's several over 1 minute time. Hail size in that right around a quarter right now. That's moved out of Diboll just to the west of Zavala, headed toward the Sam Rayburn Reservoir. Sorry,
That's okay. If you need to get some water,
I'm talked out.
It's all right. But yeah, so these severe thunderstorm warnings continuing to move off to the east-southeast at roughly 30 to 35 miles per hour. Right now, we're just rocking with some reports of quarter-size hail roughly, and also some rough wind gust estimates of about 60 miles per hour. So we'll turn the velocity product back in, and we'll focus on southern Angelina County. I'll take the hail off very quickly so we can get some estimates out there of how fast these winds could possibly be. One of them to the south and to the east, I'll need to turn the warnings off as well so we can get a better idea of how fast these winds could be at times. Roughly 30 miles per hour to the south and east of Lufkin. Also some pockets we got closer to 40 and 50 miles per hour near Zavala. There's a wind gusts along the leading edge of these thunderstorms of 50 miles per hour. And our severe thunderstorm warning threshold is 60 miles per hour. So we're certainly meeting those gusts at times of 60 miles per hour, more so at a more consistent rate of 40 to 50 miles per hour. So we'll go ahead and turn the hail back on, get the warnings as well so you can know what we're talking about, turn the reflectivity back on. And again, this hail that we have here is roughly to be estimated as quarters in size, and it looks like our hail core is also splitting up as our line continues to move a little farther to the south and to the east. The most impressive hail core is thankfully out of our viewing area, but you might have some family that lives in Polk or San Jacinto counties that, or even at that point into Tyler County, that they'll need to make sure they stay weather aware and make sure that they're keeping an eye out on their local forecast, because we do have this more impressive hail core where there are some estimates as well that are much larger than quarters in size, 2.5 inches. That's going to be up in the ballpark of hen egg sized hail, which can certainly do some damage if you were watching any of our coverage earlier from Rusk County, where we had reports as big as golf balls in size. So we'll focus more so on our neck of the woods, southern Angelina County, southern San Augustine counties as well. And for really, I guess, a more immediate impact of where we can see the leading edge of these thunderstorms, you folks in Zavala, really any moment now, you're going to get some heavier rainfall. You're also going to notice that hail will pick up at times. Hail could be as big as a quarter, but for the most part, we're getting pocket change sized hail reports, which would range anywhere from pennies to dimes, maybe even some nickels in size. That also includes Dolan along Highway 69. So Zavala, Dolan, you're going to get some heavier rainfall as well as some pockets of larger hail to pick up over the next 5 minutes. This will continue to move southeast parallel to State Highway 63 and State Highway 147. And this eventually will make its way to the Sabine-San Augustine County line, and it'll be just to the west of Highway 96 near Browndale, as well as Pineland and Hemp Hill once we get closer to about midnight and 12:15 this morning. But the good news, Brett, is at least for our viewing area in far southern deep east Texas, it looks like we're starting to see our clusters of hail weaken, and in turn that tells us that we're starting to get some weaker thunderstorms. We do have a report of nickel-sized hail in western Angelina County. That was a little while ago, and I think that would correlate. If I go back in time here, we can see where some of our earlier scans of these lighter shades of blue near Diboll and Lufkin, that would correspond to the weakening as well.
Okay, and let's take a look up at Nacogdoches. Had a question about Nacogdoches. I know parts of Nacogdoches County may still be under the severe thunderstorm watch, but it's south of Nacogdoches. So just general thunderstorms in Nacogdoches for the rest of the night. So you can rest easy, no worries of any kind of severe weather in Nacogdoches. Southern Nacogdoches County still seeing a bit of a severe thunderstorm warning around the Woden area over towards Chirino. And that storm itself is sort of skirting along that box, the top edge of this box here. So it's going to just sort of move in this direction. So as it does, I don't anticipate Nacogdoches going into any kind of warning, certainly not at Douglas or up toward Cushing. And even Aiken should stay out of that. But this will essentially move eastward now toward Broadus as it's been moving in that eastward along the leading edge of that hail core. So that's all part of this same thunderstorm here. And the just general thunderstorms up to the north. The severe threat is basically over anywhere north now of, say, Angelina County. So Rusk County was in a severe thunderstorm warning briefly till about 11:15. That cell sort of moved to the north in that weekend, so not worried about that one. It's really just been this leading edge here where we have one final push of some wind. Our data, our future skycast that we use, modeled this pretty well. It's always showed the strong thunderstorms that will be moving into deep East Texas late at night, closer to the midnight hour. We haven't had too many of these nights where the thunderstorms have gone on late into the night and into the early morning hours. Last night, overnight, we had thunderstorms that developed around 1 a.m. and moved through. A couple of severe thunderstorm warnings off of that, but no damage. These are other thunderstorms now on the tail end of this whole event, moving south and eastward. So we're getting into the end of April. We're starting to get into May. May, we can still have severe weather here in East Texas. Sometimes we can have very bad storms, especially when you add in more humidity that we see in May, more heating. And then as the month goes on, we start to see climatologically the severe weather threat begin to move back to our north and to our northwest, so that by the time we get into June, we set ourselves up with 90, 92, 93 degree heat, and that essentially sort of caps the atmosphere for thunderstorms forming. And we have to rely on a summer cold front to come through, or a nighttime thunderstorm complex to drop out of the Oklahoma down into East Texas, or occasionally you might get a storm system that would come through something like this that would bring us maybe a wider spread rain, or there would be what we call leftover outflow boundaries from other thunderstorms. They act as mini cold fronts, and so then about every afternoon we heat up. The interaction with the boundary and the surrounding environment will create additional showers and thunderstorms. So the fact that we're getting rain like this, we have to be thankful for it, even though we get some bad, severe weather out of it. But that rain that we get now keeps that soil more moist, and as we go deeper into summer, of course, as it begins to dry out, we want that surplus of moisture in our ground. So again, right now, severe thunderstorm warnings continue till about midnight for our counties in deep East Texas. We do have San Augustine County included in that. There was a small portion of Nacogdoches County also included in that warning, but at this time, it looks like that portion of the cell up here is really beginning to weaken, to the point that I would not be too worried about that at all. It looks like this cell has moved out of that, so it's now starting to move into San Augustine County. So the severe thunderstorm warning in Nacogdoches County I think expires at 11:30. We'll freeze that there, and let's see. I believe oops, it flashed and then it went away. Might have to pan up a little bit.
I think it's 11:45. Oh, midnight. I'm sorry.
Okay,
midnight.
so yeah, so part of Nacogdoches County is included in the warning for Angelina and San Augustine that goes till midnight. So what we're going to do here is we got about 1 more minute, and then we are going to go off the air and watch these storms from off the air. We have just a few people watching now on our Facebook page. So if you're in deep East Texas, you still have that tornado watch till 1 a.m. You still have these severe thunderstorm warnings till midnight. But for the most part, these are now in a weakening phase at this time, and they'll continue to move into places such as Dolan, Broadus, Pineland, Browndell, and Hemp Hill. And Hemp Hill, you should see the thunderstorms moving in at about 12:30 in the morning. And in Hemp Hill, your threat will be over for the night by 1 a.m., just as the tornado watch is ending at 1 a.m. So that's the way things stand right now from the CBS 19 Weather Center. We appreciate you watching and joining us here on our Facebook app, and also at CBS19.tv and our YouTube channel. For meteorologist Chandler Jordan, I'm CBS 19 Chief Meteorologist Brett Anthony. Have a great night.